Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn Ullum.
Welcome to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. Today we are joined by head wrestling coach Danny Irwin and my co-host Don Clegg. Danny, a big week, nationally prominent wrestling program. Welcome, first of all.
Yeah, no, it's exciting to be on the show. Obviously, some great guests already. Sharing all the exciting, breaking, events, with athletics here on the Hilltop. So excited, for us to be in the midst of winter season, ramping up here for basketball and wrestling.
Well, before we get into some other type of things, first of all, let's talk about highest preseason ranking in school history. I am assuming you're kind of like me that those rankings don't mean anything, but just talk about being second in the country.
Yeah, I think if anything, it shows that there's a lot of possibilities out there for us. That we have high aspirations. We've had high aspirations these last several years, and we've had a couple of trophy teams. Finishing third and fourth, and being ranked second in the country just shows that I think this group's going to be in the mix again, and and we're leaving it at that. We had a good one this morning, and we got an unbelievable tough test coming our way in the next couple of weeks with the people that we're going to compete against.
Don, quizzing here.
Yeah, okay. We're just totally excited about the start of wrestling season and some changes coming into NCAA wrestling this year, Coach. One of the things that's going to be really noticeable, and we saw it in the wrestlebacks in the wrestle-offs last week. Talk about the scoring changes now. What's now takedowns 3 points and all the different things.
Yeah, a couple new sequences. Takedowns are now 3 points instead of 2. So like you mentioned, the wrestle-offs, you started seeing that scoreboard really light up, and changes I think what the dual scoring is going to look like in these next couple of weeks. I think getting to that bonus point of winning by 8 points or more, to score that extra team point, or to a technical fall, winning by 15 points you're gonna see that much more with that. But then also the opportunity for wrestlers to earn 3 near fall points. So instead of 2 swipes for 2 and 4 swipes for 4, now it's 3 swipes for 3 and 2 for 2 and 4 for 4, and some little things like that just I think is going to increase action and give fans something to talk about.
Now, do you think that changes the mindset for some of your wrestlers? Because some wrestlers, are what you call pinners. Some wrestlers are compilers. A little bit more points available for the compilers. You think we look for that?
Well, I think that nothing changes so much on our side of things that we talk about the most dangerous man is the man that's willing to wrestle the next position, and our guys are continuing to wrestle the next position, and we want to seek out bonus points. Ultimately those bonus points is what's separated our teams at the national tournament from potentially some others, and I expect us to do the same thing in the start of the year and continue that through the end of the year to the NCAA national tournament.
Okay, and obviously looking at the duel coming up with Johnstown on Thursday, big rivalry, and you're ranked number 2 in the preseason coming in, they're ranked 14, and they talk about the rankings are actually what they call tournament rankings as opposed to dual meet rankings. Can you explain to our fans what the difference is between those two?
Yeah, so for the national tournament rankings, the tournament style rankings, essentially the guys are projected to be at the national tournament, are therefore putting points in the rankings for you to compile what that team ranking looks like. Where then for duels, all 10 guys are going to wrestle, and all 10 guys aren't necessarily going to wrestle at the national tournament. So each and every guy matters, and I think that's been one of the exciting things about the duels against Pitt Johnstown and some of these other programs that they put their 10 guys and ours 10 out there, and ends up being some fireworks.
Yeah, so maybe one of the unintended consequences, but I'm really anxious to see what your response is. With the new scoring rules, does that put more pressure, more responsibility, more eyes on an official?
I want to say it puts any more eyes on the official. I think like any good official, they want to stay out of the limelight and not get these fans on top of them, especially with the amount of fans I think we're going to have here in a couple days. But something that they've done a good job, and they got a new rule set, and them doing wrestle-offs, much like us, getting a chance to kind of work out some of the kinks. It's probably going to have some things we won't like, but there's always things we won't like, when it comes to calls and officials throughout the course of the entire season of every year I've coached.
Well, Dawn had mentioned big dual meet Thursday evening. We welcome Pitt Johnstown here, coached by the legendary Pat Pecora. So before we even get into Pat or his team, what do we got planned for Thursday night? It's not going to be just your normal dual meet. So talk a little bit about the thoughts and the planning to go into this.
Well, wrestling's been alive on the Hilltop for decades, and I think we've just continued to see a resurgence of that. And 2 years ago, I think we were in that 700 to 800 mark for attendance, and we're pushing for 1,000 fans. That's our goal. We're going to be recognizing the Wheeling Small Fry, which has, I think, their biggest turnout in many years. I think 250 kids in their small fry. So we're hoping to see those the future of wrestling show up to the Hilltop with their parents. We also have our alumni night. 2 years ago we had, I think, 48 alumni back for the night, and so we have those couple of things that I think between two great teams squaring off against each other, and those kind of people coming back that mean a lot to our program, it's going to make for a real special night.
Okay, let's talk a little bit. First of all, Dawn, read some accolades. You get these nice notes that you've made. Talk about Pat Pecora a little bit.
Well, and you talk about West Liberty Wrestling's been around for a long time, and of course Coach Pecora is the West Liberty alum, West Liberty Hall of Famer. He wrestled here, 4-time National Coach of the Year, more dual meet wins than any coach in NCAA history. And going back to the time factor, he's heading into his 48th season at UPJ. He's got 646 dual meet wins, and they're coming for you guys. They've won 38 of their last 39 dual meets. They didn't lose a match last year. It's going to be a great atmosphere.
Well, their program expects to win, and Coach Pecora, with those kind of accolades, he's somebody you want to be. And haven't quite experienced that in the dual meet, experienced it at the national tournament. But dual meets matter, especially when you got the amount of eyeballs we're going to have on us here in a couple days. But I just have the utmost respect for him and what he's done for wrestling, what he's done for that community regionally. He's just produced a lot of great people out into the communities, and just been I would say a symbol for what our alumni are. That they care about people and have achieved just some amazing things. And we've had a heck of a fall with some John Blanger going to the Wall of Honor, and a couple guys going into our Athletics Hall of Fame with Urbis and Stone, and just something that I'm really excited about to get everybody back and to see them. And Coach Price was just inducted in the West Virginia Chapter Hall of Fame, and so just another year of Hilltopper wrestling, making those ripples out there.
Well, we talked about Coach Pecora has been there for 48 years. This is your 5th at West Liberty, correct?
Yep.
So does it seem like it was just yesterday? Because remember, you're not an alum. You didn't grow up here, and I was fortunate enough to acquire your services 5 years ago. Does it seem like it was just yesterday, or does it seem like you've been here forever?
Well, I wouldn't say forever, but that's been one of the best parts. That just the welcoming environment that we have up here. That how our programs get along and support one another, and just the community. They enjoy athletics, and so for us, having the opportunity to be up here, my wife and kids, we absolutely love it. And we've made some great memories already, but there's still some stuff like a duel against UPJ, and amongst a couple other items that are left, I would say, check off on what we want to experience and what we're working towards day in, day out.
Well, you've obviously been a tremendous success here, and I'm glad you brought up Rick Price, who was Coach Monceau's assistant here forever, former conference champion, tremendous wrestler in his own right, West Liberty Hall of Fame. So talk a little bit about his award.
Well, just, I think it was a Lifetime Service Award, and he's somebody that's just been a part of wrestling. And I think one of the things that I've really enjoyed, and that fact that he gets to feel that appreciation, and getting that kind of recognition. And for me as a coach, I think it adds fuel to the fire when you see guys like Seth Phelan, post what Coach Price meant to him, not only in the wrestling realm, but as a mentor, as a teacher, and just as a person, that he was always such an uplifting person. And just something that it's a good reminder for me and my staff of what we're trying to do with our program, our group of guys, that this is the type of person we want to be for them. And Coach Price is just a shining example of that. So I've loved reading the things that our alumni have had to say about Coach Price, and man, he's loved by so many.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to wrap up the first segment here of Inside Hill.
Fire alarm activation, either Wagner building.
It was a space heater that had caught on fire, and it was really a major smoke event. We immediately called Panhandle, and they were on the scene rather quickly and got their air cleaning machines, smoke eating machines. They cleaned our ductwork inside and out, painted the walls, shampooed the carpets, cleaned every flat surface in the office, vacuumed, and got us up and running really quickly. Panhandle did a great job.
Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn Ullum.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. I'm joined by head wrestling coach Danny Irwin and co-host Don Clegg. So, Coach, we talked a little bit about the dual match here against UPJ. Let's talk a little bit more specifically about your team. You do return experience.
Yep.
So, according to Don's notes here, we have 5 wrestlers who are currently ranked in the top 4 in the country in their respective weight classes. So let's just talk about a couple of these guys. And remember, my methodology on all these podcasts, these are more team-oriented. We don't get into every single person and every single stat and every single accolade, but it's easy to start with Ty McGeary because he's a national champion. So
Yeah, I mean, Ty's excited to get back out there again. Something that the good thing is there's no more championships to be won in 2023, but we're in deep preparation for what we want to do in 2024. And Ty's he's been in on that every single day, and just been a good example, especially for our new guys. And we're going to have probably a couple new faces in the lineup that they've got a chance to experience what he's been doing day in and day out, and start emulating some of those habits.
here's a weird question, because I know human nature. As much as we all want our athletes to be perfect, and I think Cole Leia probably had to experience this even more. When you've won a national championship, what is the thought process in these guys' heads? Because once you've won a national championship and you're trying to win a national championship, this is like the details. All the dual meets and things are details. Do they want to just get back on that last mat? Or how does that process work?
Well, I think champions, they understand that the process is in the details, and sure, who doesn't want to be back in March? But heck, if we were wrestling the national tournament right now, I can't say we'd be ready or not ready per se, but I think that's one of the awesome things about Ty, that he looks over the details pretty in depth, and much like a Cole Leia, who won a couple national titles here, that. The way they approach their academics, or the way they approach the social side of things, that they're putting themselves in position to have that same kind of experience. But I think when it comes to the mental side of things, that's one of the best things about what Cole did, or what Ty's doing now, that they don't identify as, well, I'm a national champion now. They identify, well, these are the things that I'm about. These are the type of things that I love, and wrestling's one of those things that they love and they enjoy. And but then the cherry on top is getting a chance to win a national title again, and he's going to put the work in to do that, I believe.
seniors on your team? Just mention a couple of those.
Well, we're lucky to have a couple old men back. Jamar Williams and Francesco Porcelino. That they're as super of seniors as you're gonna get, and I know those two guys have some unfinished business that they want to accomplish this year. They were right there, a point to the returning national champion, and I think 2 seconds of ride time for the other guy, and that puts us a big difference in the team finishes last year. But those guys are hungry. But we also have just some other good leadership. Vinny Scolo. You talked about losing a guy like Cole Leia. He brought a ton of energy for us, and I think Alex Crane's going to be ready to answer the bell to be that guy. And then a guy like Vinny Scolo, man, there's nobody like him, and his celebrations are fantastic to say the least, and we want to see some more of that, but we're going to want to see some of that out of Alex to get us off and running each and every weekend.
Well, before we switch gears here, let's throw a teaser out there, and I don't want to get into the details, so don't even answer this. I'll just kind of talk about it. We are looking at an expansion of our wrestling facilities. We will be launching a national, or not a national campaign, but it'll start grassroots here and hopefully go nationals. But I'm sure you're excited about this.
Yeah, I think anytime you can make improvements and just give our student athletes just a little bit more to have the things at their fingertips to be successful on and off the mat, it's something that's got to be looked at. And I think this is one of the things that, man, we've been fortunate. Our donor base, our alumni, our friends of our program, they really have answered the bell. And this next campaign is, I think, the one that's gonna finish off things that this is going to allow us just to do what we do every day and help mentor and coach these student athletes to be the best that they can. And so I'll be excited to share that with more. And like you said, it starts here locally, and I think it's going to be something that's going to gain some national traction very quickly when it's all said and done.
Well, if you're out there, pay attention, because that announcement will be coming soon here in the near future. But let's totally go sideways here. We have a new sport here, so talk a little bit about that.
Super exciting for us to add women's wrestling. It's something that I think athletics here, it's a big deal. To get an education here, it's a big deal, and we've just had a fantastic response thus far from not only regionally but from nationally, that they know that wrestling's a big deal here, and that they're going to come here, and I think our women's program is going to pick up steam really quickly and be just as good, if not better than our men's team when it's all said and done. That there's plenty of programs that are producing national team, world team members, and women that are wrestling at the Olympics. And I'm looking forward to getting that next crop of student athletes, wrestlers here that are having those kind of aspirations, that they want to have a first-class experience academically, athletically, and have those kind of ambitions on the world stage.
Well, we obviously are embracing this, and you and Athletic Director Brad Forsey, I'm sure, will confer a lot. Just give us a quick timeline about how the women's wrestling is going to work here.
Yeah, just right now we're in a recruiting process. The job for our head women's position is getting ready to be posted here in the next few weeks, and I think that puts us in position to really land a candidate that can be help be the face of the program, and really attract the best of the best in the classroom and out on the mat in the community, and we have that person in place. I'm looking forward to that coming into place in the spring, and then that transferring into adding assistants and our roster, and I think just like our men's program, with where we're at now, that we're going to pick up momentum, and I'm excited to work with those people to make this a destination for women, men, and people from all over the country, that this is the place to be.
Well, you've done obviously a tremendous job in your short tenure here. I seem to think like I just hired you yesterday, but if you're available, please come out Thursday night. Nationally prominent University of Pitt Johnstown, coached by former alum Pat Pecora. Hilltoppers preseason number 2. Coach, thanks for joining us. Also, if you're back for that match or any match, take a look at our wrestling facilities, the hallways, the recognition of our former scholar athletes, All-Americans, Hall of Famers. It's incredible. Please join in the next time we do one of these podcasts, but please come out and see us live. Thank you for joining us.